When Job was at his lowest point in life, 3 of his companions came to offer him comfort, and they failed miserably. But what if their situations had been reversed? What would Job have done? He said, as recorded at Job 16:5, "I would strengthen you with the words of my mouth, and the consolation of my lips would bring relief." Today more than ever, people need encouragement and comfort. So we should always aim to be upbuilding and positive. What does that take? We need to cultivate a positive view of our listeners, limit negative material, and make good use of God's Word. Why is it important to cultivate a positive view of our listeners? Because our viewpoint will be reflected in our teaching. Let's watch an elder giving a local needs talk with the theme, Cultivate the Habit of Being Punctual. How do you think he views his audience?
The elders have chosen this theme because many just don't seem to understand the importance of punctuality and have the habit of arriving late for meetings. In this talk, we will answer these questions. How does being late show a lack of appreciation for Jehovah's provisions? And when you are constantly late, how is this inconsiderate of others?
The speaker seemed to be irritated, didn't he? Because he didn't have a positive view of the audience, his approach was critical, not constructive. Such a talk wouldn't be very motivating. Let's watch the elder try again. Notice how a positive view of his audience affects his teaching.
The elders asked me to commend you for your efforts to be punctual. Our theme, Cultivate the Habit of Being Punctual, was chosen because as busy, imperfect humans, we all have a challenge to be on time for meetings. In this talk, we will answer these questions. Why is it important to be punctual? And what are some practical suggestions to help us arrive on time?
Did you notice that he first commended the congregation? The speaker believes that his audience wants to be on time and please Jehovah, so his approach was positive, focusing on how to be punctual rather than how to avoid being late. This made his talk upbuilding. A positive view of our listeners is also important when we're in the ministry. If we believe that behind every door is a potential fellow believer, we'll preach with enthusiasm. To be upbuilding and positive, we must also limit negative material. Of course, life in this system of things has negative aspects that cannot be ignored. However, when teaching, we should include negative material only when it serves a useful purpose. For example, the introduction of a talk may call for us to discuss the failure of human rule, reports of crime and violence, or the shocking prevalence of immorality. But if we were to consider such things at length, the effect may be depressing. The overall tone of the talk should be positive. When in the ministry, we sometimes start a conversation by raising a problem that's on the minds of those in our territory. However, the purpose of our visit is to share the good news of the kingdom. So at an early point in the conversation, we should try to direct attention to refreshing Bible truths. How do you think the publisher does in the following demonstration?
We're making brief visits to help people manage their stress. Does it seem to you that people are more stressed today than they were in the past?
I think people are more stressed.
Crime is getting worse, and many people are afraid. Many people feel pressure to make ends meet. Then there's the very real threat of nuclear war.
I'm not interested.
The conversation ended because the publisher spent too much time talking about negative things. Let's watch her try again.
We're making brief visits to help people manage their stress. Does it seem to you that people are more stressed today than they were in the past?
I think people are more stressed.
Many have found that the practical advice in the Bible helps them manage their stress. Here's one example. It's found at Matthew 6:34.
Much better. Instead of dwelling on the problems, the publisher directed the householder to something positive. The best way to be upbuilding and positive is to base our words on the Bible. So use the Bible when replying to questions, and when giving a talk, teach from the Scriptures. In our teaching, we should focus on things that will improve a situation and that inspire confidence. In this way, we'll be upbuilding and positive.